How could the United States respond to a nuclear conflict, and would it still work?
Many fear the beginning of World War III.
Many wonder what our current nuclear arsenal contains and would the U.S. win a nuclear war?
America's nuclear triad is a three-pronged military force. The origins of the nuclear triad can be traced back to the 1960s.
The Obama administration made clear that the U.S. will retain the nuclear triad, the Trump administration continued the program, and the Biden administration advanced the modernization program.
The triad is the backbone of America's national security. If any leg is destroyed, a retaliatory strike is possible. Strategic bombers are the first leg of the nuclear triad. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, are the second leg. The third is submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs. The U.S. has 400 LGM-30 Minuteman missiles.
These silos are located on rural U.S. Air Force bases in Colorado, Nevada, Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota.
They are operated at all times and are able to be remotely launched.
They have been on high alert since 1959 and can be launched within minutes.
Attacks on these silos would require at least 400 separate warheads. There is no turning back once these 400 nuclear ICBMs have been launched. The president would have minutes to make the decision to use the 400 missiles or lose them. 66 nuclear strategic bombers create the second leg.
They are organized into 9 bomber squadrons at 3 bases. They are housed out of North Dakota, Missouri and Louisiana.
The U.S. has 100 nuclear bombs at NATO bases in Europe. There are 46 B-52 bombers and 20 B-2 stealth bombers. B-2 stealth bombers can carry up to 16 nuclear gravity bombs. The B-52 carries up to 20 AGM-86 cruise missiles. AGM-86 missiles carry a 50 kg warhead with 20x the destructive power. These nuclear bombers can be called back, unlike nuclear missiles.
And would be harder since the counterattack would have to target each missile.
14 nuclear submarines make up the third and most important leg. Each nuclear sub carries 20 Trident II nuclear missiles. They are armed with up to 5 475 kiloton W-88 warheads.
Traveling at speed of 1,800 miles per hour, range of 7,500 miles, and hits its target in 15 minutes.
Each warhead is independently guided with MIRV.
One missile has 150 times the destructive power of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
A release of all 20 Trident II missiles from one submarines is 3,000x the destructive power of the Hiroshima bomb. 70% of the arsenal is located on these undetectable subs. 70% of the missiles are aimed at enemy nuclear forces, not cities. Most of these weapons target Russia, several others are included. The PSYOP gave the president a range of nuclear options. "90% of all nuclear warheads are owned by Russia and the United States. Russia and the U.S. have over 11,000 warheads, followed by China with 350. Since the Cold War, the number of nuclear weapons has declined from a peak of 70,300 in 1986. The dinosaur-killing asteroid released energy equivalent to 15,000 times that of all the nukes existing today. 2050 nukes have been detonated on Earth as tests since the Cold War. 9,400 warheads are in the military stockpiles for use by missiles, aircraft, ships and submarines. Russia is engaged in an aggressive nuclear expansion, and its modernization effort is reported as nearly complete. Russia is developing nuclear-capable unmanned underwater vehicles as well as nuclear-tipped hypersonic glide vehicles. Russia is expected to increase nuclear weapons, which potentially outnumbers the US 10-1. Russia's recent nuclear doctrine indicates a lower threshold for use of these tactical nuclear weapons. China would have at least 1,000 nuclear warheads by the end of the decade. China appears to be building more than 100 new DF-41 missile silos in the desert. China has completed its nuclear triad. Unlike the US and Russia, China has not participated in talks or risk reduction measures. Iran continues to enrich uranium and has enough fissile material to produce a nuclear bomb. NSA uses life extension programs to extend the service lives of existing weapons which date back to the 1960s. The U.S. is the only nuclear state that lacks the capability to produce plutonium pits, which is the key component in nuclear weapons. Most scientists and engineers with hands-on nuclear weapons experience, design or testing are now retired. The question that remains is how much the U.S. needs to account for these drastic changes and continuing expansion. The only change in the U.S. nuclear arsenal was the deployment of W-76 5-kiloton warheads in 2020. The U.S. is working to modernize these nuclear forces, which were all developed during the 1960s Cold War. U.S. nuclear capabilities must have the capacity to hedge against an uncertain future. The United States also extends its nuclear umbrella to more than 30 allies and partners that rely on the U.S. to defend them.